Meeting order. Stand for the flag salute.
That was good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open Public Meetings Act statement, please.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board and township website on January 8th, 2022.
Roll call.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson? Here. Mayor Bruno?
Here. At this time, we're going to have Jim Ketchum. He's going to give us a presentation on the police K-9 charity. I believe it is, Jimmy, you're starting, 501c3. Jim,
We would like to,
Jim, you can pull that microphone.
Thank you.
Pull it down a little bit more, so you're right in your eyes.
We would like to thank the Township Committee for giving us the opportunity to make this presentation tonight to the residents of Franklin Township. What if I told you it was possible to ease the operational expenses of the Franklin Township Police Department K-9, along with strengthening the bond between our officers and residents? With that said, let us introduce our newly formed Franklin Township Forensic K-9 Incorporated. We are a community-based nonprofit in the process of becoming a 501c3 organization. Our mission is to promote unity in our community, along with providing financial support through fundraising and donations to aid any expenses incurred by our Franklin Township Police Department. Since our K-9 unit is currently a donation-driven department, the creation of Forensic K-9 will allow us more exposure to opportunities only afforded to nonprofits. Forensic K-9 will be eligible to receive grants, payroll-deducted donations, and any generous donation will be eligible for an income tax deduction, just to name a few. No matter the amount, Forensic K-9 will make every penny that we receive go to work, helping provide the resources needed by our K-9 officers and their partners. Funding that will assist them to continue to work safely and efficiently within their ever-changing environments. Our plans moving forward include involvement in community activities and making Forensic K-9 a self-sustaining entity that will be passed on to future K-9 supporters. If anyone would like to make a generous tax-deductible donation and has the Venmo app on your phone, you can look for us at FT Friends of K-9 Incorporated. Or you can make a donation payable to Franklin Township Friends of K-9 Inc. and mail it to P.O. Box 784, Newfield, New Jersey, 08344. Also, you can contact us if you would like to help us in any way by emailing us at ftforensick9@gmail.com. We greatly appreciate all the assistance we received from Chief Zimmer, Captain Muller, Joe Nick, and the K-9 officers during this process. Moving into the future, we look forward to working with Deputy Chief DeCesare and the K-9 officers to make Friends of K-9 a successful organization. In closing, we ask for your support in helping Friends of K-9 pay it forward for our K-9 officers and their partners, whom every day put our safety above their own and expect nothing in return. Thank you, and God bless America. You guys, any questions I can answer? Or?
Have you got all that stuff done already?
So we're in the process of, we have the paperwork in to the IRS right now. We're waiting to hear back on that. And once that's done, it's going to be a big hurdle. We have letters from our attorney to basically any donations given now before we're officially a 501 would be like it would prorate it back to the time of incorporation.
Brian, I know you were working on with Brian for a while. You got anything, Brian, you wanna say, or?
Not really, I mean, the Ketchums basically did this, I was just there to help them along the way. I mean, he had an idea, him and his wife, and, you know, going back to his son, collecting money, for a project at school is where it all started. And then, it just evolved from there, but, I can't explain the work that they put in and what they do, and the meetings we've had, you know, prior to 7 AM, so they can get to work. You know, this is something that they came up with, that they are very passionate about, and, you know, I'm glad that we have people like that in our community, and I'm glad that I was able to start helping them do this.
I'm a little biased. I like them, I work with them. This all started with a calf donation?
And my son, when he,
Yeah.
his 8th grade project,
Yeah.
yes, you were part of that, yes.
We seeded that money, right, for the
Yes.
bracelet?
Oh, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, bracelet. That's
That,
great.
my son Jim sold bracelets for his 8th grade Pay It Forward project and raised $2,000 for the canine unit in Franklin Township.
That's awesome.
Matt, do we have to do anything we don't have to do anything?
No, we're just acknowledging the existence and making it easier for them to get the word out. We don't have a direct role, so to speak, other than coordinating.
Go ahead.
Sir, if I may, the only thing you would have to do is, any of the money, like where I've worked on 15 of these before in the state, the only thing you guys would have to agree to as a panel is to release the money that's already been donated to canine, for canine use, so they could in turn put it back into these. You can't have two separate entities in your town with that type of money, sir, with all due respect.
Matt?
We'll have to review what's on hand. I'm not aware of exactly what's on here, Mayor. So we'll certainly review that.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Could I just have the P.O. box one more time? I still can't figure out Venmo.
Yeah, you can take that home with you, Mary.
I might need to, as bad as my eyes are. Thank you.
Jim, you want to get up with the canine officers?
I'd probably be better off just dropping it
website?
off.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Bill, you wanna see that sign?
Could we put that on the website, maybe?
Everybody up front.
Yeah.
Overlay on the video.
Push the dais out.
I'll get the dice.
Should we advertise that on the website?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice job, Jim.
Thank you.
We'll work on public speaking.
I know.
He's such a
I know, I just wanna help you out. Yeah, you go the other way.
Oh, shit.
Got it, great. Thank you.
Side behind the chair.
Have Sarah put it on the website.
Jimmy, you guys wanna leave, you take a couple minutes. Thank you. We open a public, hearing on the following ordinances. O-1022, authorizing electric vehicle supply service equipment, EVSE, and make ready parking spaces.
I'll make
Yes.
a motion on O-1022.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing on O-1022.
Make a motion to close public hearing on O-1022.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Making a motion to, open the public hearing on O-1122. Is there something to vote on that?
Voting
Yeah,
on
vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's do one at a time.
Can I get a motion to pass O-1022?
Make a motion to pass O-1022.
Second.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Make a motion to open the public hearing on 01122, amending chapter 253-83, energy conservation of the code of the Township of Franklin.
Yes, make a motion to open the public hearing on 01122.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Leader of the salary, 560 Delsey Drive in Malaga. What is the difference between 01122 and 01222?
Matt?
There were comments raised and they were addressed. It would seem to be that, Mayor, that we certainly would not pass one, but that the issues raised in previous meetings regarding some of the zone language was changed in consultation with the zoning officer. So I would recommend that certainly you not pass both. That and again, the second one, 12, was done to incorporate those requested changes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing on 01122?
Make a motion to close the public hearing on 01222.
Second.
11.
Oh, I'm sorry, 01122, I apologize.
Good.
Second.
Can I get a motion to adopt 01122? Matt, there's no motion.
Then the matter would fail, Mayor. We've conducted the public hearing. There's no motion to move it. The matter would fail.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing on 01222, Matt, amending chapter 253-83, energy conservation of the code of the Township of Franklin?
Make a motion to open the public hearing on 01222.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Leah Sallow again, 560 Delsey Drive in Malaga. I just had a couple of questions or comments related to this ordinance. First off, where it says, whereas Article 8 of Chapter 253-86 establishes energy conservation within the Township of Franklin, it doesn't in fact do that, at least not as I read it. Article 8 is a section called Management Program and Minimum Standards for Pineland Protection Areas. So you're amending, or you're basing it on, or you're actually amending something that has to do with pineland protection areas as opposed to the entire township, just as a preliminary matter. And then my other question is, on the residential side of this, does that apply to residences in all zoning, or does it only apply to residences in RA zoning?
I think it's all zoning, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, the resident restrictions or regulation would apply to all residential structures, Mayor.
Okay, and then I noticed you have an ordinance modifying the IC zoning to accommodate this ordinance, but I don't see one modifying all the other zones to allow for the residential solar use. And that's just a comment, but to get on with another question, why did you choose the IC, which is, and I think Barbara Halpern brought this up a couple meetings ago, it's not the industrial commercial zone as it says on the ordinance. It's the interchange commercial zone, which is specifically tailored around Route 55. So why did you pick that zone as opposed to the highway commercial zone, the business zone, the light manufacturing zone, or Pinelands neighborhood commercial, Pinelands highway commercial, Pinelands industrial, or Pinelands light manufacturing?
Matt?
Mayor, all those were considered, and again, the decision was made to put it in this zone. So
who were they considered by, and who made the decision? Because I'm kind of asking the Township Committee, why would it be restricted to this one small zone where it clearly doesn't fit at all? I mean, that's the one zone where you would utilize the fact that you're right at a major interchange for commercial activities, but not allow it in zones that first of all, we have much more quantity of, but secondly, that it would fit better in. Because I took a look at the actual properties in the industrial commercial zone, and as far as I can tell, there are only 3 property owners who could potentially put in solar systems under this commercial solar ordinance. And even those, I believe, would all have to have road vacations in order to qualify. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know at least one of them would. So to me, it doesn't make sense. I think it might have been based on the fact that maybe someone thought the IC was actually industrial commercial instead of interchange commercial. But it seems to me that if you want to allow commercial solar energy systems, they should be allowed in all of the commercial districts. I mean, why would you say highway commercial is inappropriate, but really, really big highway commercial is?
Mayor, again, one of the primary functions we talked about, one of the goals was to address the industry as a whole, and the driving force was the decommissioning requirements, and it was not to allow for just universal use of it, because now that the industry is grown somewhat and aged, there's more understanding of where these need to be located in order to be profitable, what they need to be adjacent to or within range of, as well as, like I said, concerns about what happens down the road when they become obsolete and the township and the taxpayers are on the hook for that cleanup or that decommissioning. So all those factors were considered, and again, some of the remoteness of some of the zones cited and the inability to thereafter make them viable was a consideration. But again, these are meant to get us into a point where the concerns and the interests of the taxpayers as a whole are protected, not targeting individual tracks or individual industry.
Well, my concern, I'm just going to throw it out there, is it seems a little bit like the tail's wagging the dog here, because the Township Committee should be the one considering and having these discussions when the solicitor has to explain to the Township Committee why certain things were chosen the way they were. It sounds to me like the wrong people are making those decisions. And I find it hard to believe that highway commercial, which is all on highway, Route 40 or 47, is too remote to consider the ramifications 20 years from now when they may not want to have solar systems anymore. I would ask you to seriously reconsider it, because if it isn't strategic for the actual master plan with what's supposed to be in that area, and it isn't at all for interchange commercial. It's supposed to be things like, restaurants and gas stations and things that people getting off 55 might have a use for. So if it doesn't fit in with the master plan, and it doesn't benefit the township that much, because these are great ratables, why not allow them everywhere in a commercial zone? I think you should seriously reconsider it, because what it appears to be,
How is it a great rateable?
because you pay taxes on solar systems and they're worth quite a bit of money. I mean, how is it not? What services do they use from the township? What's
I
that?
don't believe you pay taxes on solar panels, just the land.
I don't know. I mean, it was always presented before as a rateable, so I don't know why you wouldn't. It's
believe it's New
valuable, but
Jersey
maybe
law.
I'm wrong. So either way though, if it's beneficial in one area, it should be beneficial in all. So I would ask you to reconsider that, but yes, whoever's made the decision has made it.
Can I get a motion to close 01222?
Make a motion to close 01222.
Can I get a motion to adopt 01222?
Make a motion to adopt 01222.
Second.
Excuse me, Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Bruno.
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing on 01322, amending chapter 253 land development article, what's that, 23, IC interchange commercial.
Make a motion to open the public hearing on 01322.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Just just finish up my thoughts since I ran out of time on the last one.
I was gonna say, you're getting your steps in
I
today.
hear you. Permitted uses in interchange commercial, automobile fueling stations, diners and restaurants, bars, pubs and taverns, hotels and motels, government buildings, public utilities, childcare centers, mass transit stations, and now commercial solar systems. And I just want to point out again, they are modifying this ordinance to include the new uses, but you're not modifying any other ordinance. And in theory, they would all have new residential uses. And the last thing is just a technicality. It looks like you're putting your bulk requirements for the solar energy systems under the parking subtitle for this, but just a point of clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to close the public portion of O 1322?
The motion to close O 1322.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adopt O 1322?
Make a motion to adopt O 1322.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinances below?
Make a motion to open the first public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Harry Kennedy, 1578 Bryceville Road. Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to diverge for a moment. I'm sure you'll shut me down if it's inappropriate. But I wanted to thank the Township Committee and the previous Township Committee for actions that they took. Today, the tragedy in Texas and the shooting that took place, and those parents 2 days ahead of the summer vacation to go home and to face that. And again, I don't know what the rules are in Texas. I know there's open carry. I know the gun rules are somewhat more relaxed than New Jersey. I don't know how shut down schools are or whether or not the safeguards that were done here were done there. But I am very aware that the Township Committee invested in police resources for each one of the schools. I'm also very aware that the school boards also invested in lockdown systems in order to protect the children. Now, God forbid, we all know that nothing prevents anything from happening, but it does increase the odds in your favor for mitigating terrible disasters. And the mapping out and the system that was put into place to allow first responders to know where to go, and by setting up the computerized standard, and by utilizing a grant to protect our children, even though you had to listen to some morons that were against it, you stuck with it, you did what was right, you protected our children. And there's no greater calling than that, and I commend the Township Committee on the excellence of that protection, as well as the school boards and the hiring of the police resources necessary to protect our children. I know that wasn't on the agenda, but I know it's on everybody's mind. And probably, more than our prayers and our thoughts go out to those people in Texas, our actions go out to the residents of Franklin and Elk Township to protect their children as best we can. And this Township Committee, at least 80% of it, has been firmly and formally committed to protecting those children. Thank you very much, and God bless you for that action. Now to move on to a somewhat less pleasant discussion that's on tonight's agenda, and that is the final resolution on there, accepting a recommendation of the Township Administrator terminating the employment of a Township employee. And again, your solicitor, who serves in several other towns, who I'm looking forward to going and seeing him in action in Winona in the very near future, has pointed out promissory estoppel to you in the past, and the bad decisions made by previous township committees, you aren't liable for them. There have been a lot of suits in this township, Mr. Mayor, a lot of suits, a lot of expensive suits. I know that your payment has been greatly increased in terms of what you will have to do should there be another lawsuit in terms of termination. We're talking about a 34-year employee nearing the end of his time in Franklin Township and his ability to collect a full-time pension. Again, many things have taken place. Many changes have taken place at the DPW. Many duties can be assumed or not assumed. But let's be smart about what we do. Let's be careful. Let's not expose ourselves to any more lawsuits. I noticed that the terrible and tragic events that just took place down there, with all the charges that were made and all the felony charges that were made, my God, they were just dropped and went away. What a coincidence. And that case is over and done with. There's no more any felony charges. There was a settlement with that person from the Township Committee for $57,000. Let's not have another one. Let's not have a public airing of all our dirty linen. Let's not revisit all those investigations in time and alliances at the DPW. Let's deal with a person that has been a wrestler for Delsea Regional, a volunteer to help the kids of Franklin and Elk, a person that always tried to do his duty, a person that's been a union president, a person that I negotiated with when I was administrator and found to be an intelligent and person that I could deal with honestly and forthrightly. Think very carefully about what you're doing to the township for a couple more months of supplementary income or working out a deal or an arrangement. Let's not go through another lawsuit. Let's not go through the pain where this is going to take us, Mr. Mayor. I firmly urge you to reconsider and table that resolution for tonight and see if you can't work it out. You're a very smart man. I feel you can work it out. With your union background, I'm sure you can work it out. You take care and have a good night.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to close? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Couple questions on R 95-22. So I brought up at last meeting, I asked you if it was how much it was gonna cost the taxpayers. You blatantly came right out and said, dollar more. It's actually costing us $6,130.71.
How much? I'm sorry.
$6,130.71. That's a 5% raise. Not saying he doesn't deserve it. What I'm saying is, I asked you a question and that was your answer, $1.
Should have been $1 more than the captain's salary.
I did that math too also. But my concern is, this contract that I received was on May 10th, which was the day of the meeting. So, did you not have this contract to know the difference?
Did he sign that before the meeting?
No, sir.
It was after the meeting, correct?
Yes, sir. I stayed after the meeting and generated the contract before it was passed.
But the contract, you had already negotiated the contract, so you already knew it was in.
No, ma'am. I generated that contract and then it was given to Deputy Chief DeCesare after the meeting when he was approved as Deputy Chief. There was no negotiating. That was given to him as our offer to look at,
Who's our offer?
the township. As
So-
I represent the township as the administrator.
So,
And as the mayor said that night, his salary was put $1 above Captain Muller's.
that's not what he said during that night.
He did.
No, he did not.
No, I probably screwed it up. It's fine.
He said, he did
I'm
not.
not gonna forget.
He said $1 a few times, and he did say $1 more than a cap.
He said it was gonna cost us
You're-
$1 more.
He did say that a few times, but what he meant was,
We'll play
I know what he
the video.
meant,
We'll
but
play the
now that I
video.
have the contract, I know what he
We'll
meant.
play the video.
But, so none of yous approved the contract, the administrator now makes up a contract and gives it to Matt to sign, and now today you're gonna approve it? So before you even, this doesn't make any sense.
They saw that contract.
You saw the contract.
I saw the contract. They saw the
So the
contract.
contract was done before the meeting?
it was talked about. I mean, $1 more than the captain, there's not a lot of debate there, there's not a lot of
No,
discussion,
there
so we
was,
left 50
In
cents.
contract negotiations, the administrator would meet with the union representatives or the employee, Deputy Chief DeCesare. The contract would be discussed. he would agree to the terms of that the township has offered him. That would then be sent to the committee for approval. So he would agree to the terms of that contract in front of you. There's no sense in the committee voting on it if he's not gonna agree to it.
Well, the committee has to know what's going on in this contract.
It mirrors the contract of the chief, Zimmer, except for the salary.
Tonight's the night of formal approval. As the administrator said, he negotiates the contract for approval. It doesn't go to the committee for final approval until the other party has agreed to all the terms. It's not a back and forth where there's going to be a direct negotiation with everybody on the township committee.
But they should,
That's his role.
that might be his role, but they should know what it says.
Well, they're here tonight to approve it. It's on the agenda for formal approval.
It was in their Dropbox.
I didn't
It was in their Dropbox.
Oh, it's in everybody's Dropbox. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong, I mean, because his next 2 years, he's only getting a 1.5% and then a 2%, which,
Say good job. Say good job. You're saving
We
us
should give
money.
them more now?
no, 2% is the average.
Okay.
2% is the average, so I'm saying that, no, it's fine on that part of it. Mike, and then so, I guess you're gonna answer the questions. So the sick time, the way I'm reading this contract, the sick time, if they've been there for 10 years or more, it gets paid out in a lump sum.
That's by state law.
That's by state law. So where is we have 2 officers out right now, and so we're now spending $277,771.37 for 2 officers that are inactive,
We're not going to talk about
but
that.
on the books. So my question is, that's
No,
my
we're not
question.
going to talk about them.
I'm not talking about them, so my
You're talking
question
about
is, in the contract, it says you get a lump sum. When you're done, you get a lump sum. So it's not that you're giving them a lump sum, so they're allowed to use whatever time they have on the books and be out of work. And the township pay the salary.
We're not going to address questions that are clearly designed to targeting
It's not targeted.
individuals. I'm just saying, those employees have rights also, and we have to balance their rights with your right to ask the question. You want to ask a question that clearly applies to 2 individuals, regardless of whether you name them or not. And we can't do that.
If this contract's mirroring another contract, so when an employee retires, are
Mayor,
you saying that they could only get paid up to 15,000 for the
By
sick
5
time?
minutes.
By
Renee,
state law.
5 minutes is up.
You can't put a time limit on ordinances.
It's a
This isn't an
resolution.
ordinance.
Or
We're past
resolutions,
that.
you just can't.
Yes, we can.
This is
The governing body can regulate
the
speech.
first public portion
They're allowing
you're
2.
asking for.
What's that?
This is the public portion. We're not down to 95.22. The resolution you questioned. What did she say? See what she said.
Mr. Mayor, Harry Kennedy, 1578 Rosemont Road. Again, it's not the first time that a chief of police has gone out on leave at the end of his contract.
Well, I don't know that.
No, I know, and I'm not.
And I don't know if we have a chief out on that right
It's-
now.
It's of little consequence to me in any case. I just remember Chief Rock and Chief and Lieutenant Crescitelli and the arrangements that were made when they left. It was probably a similar amount of money. However, the discussion last week, I have remarkable recall because of your statement. And that was, this will pad Brian's salary. And your answer was, no, it will not.
Sorry,
pad
Brian.
Brian's
Sorry,
salary.
Brian, you had to hear
Yeah,
that here.
because the discussion was about Brian specifically. And by making it $1, that led to 20 cents more for Brian. And again, that was the conversation that was held last week. And I really do hate to defend you. I mean, you don't need it from me, that's for sure.
At this point, I
But
think I
in
did.
the interest of fairness, the discussion was held. And the discussion specifically was about how much this benefits the chief. And your answer, I hate to say it, but you were 100% correct. And you said you would pay it out of your pocket, and that would amount to 20 cents. It wasn't the difference between a lieutenant's salary and a deputy chief's salary. It was about the impact on the chief's salary. And in any case, I don't want to extend you in any more time beyond my 5 minutes. And thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
I really hate to go back to boring because I'm actually more entertained by this last conversation. But I just wanted to check with the solicitor, the comment that solar panels are not taxable. I'm not an expert on that, but I just looked it up real quick and it appears that they're only not taxable when they're added as an accessory use to a building, residential, commercial, industrial, or mixed use that produces renewable energy on site to provide for that property.
For just on site,
What's that?
just on site. So a solar farm,
Correct, would be taxable according to how I'm reading this. So I just want to point that out in case that did weigh into your consideration of limiting it to that one particular area. Because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lyons, I'm sure you look at this more often than I do. But, you know, assuming it is a taxable use, again, I think it would benefit from
I think we
expanding
already
that
voted, didn't we?
to all the areas.
Can't unvote.
So,
Well,
So
you can
we already
always vote to
voted.
change it, that's the beauty of ordinances.
Maybe next month.
Jake, one last thing, if I might. I remember having a conversation with the owners of the farm that Mr. Doyle rents, and they were talking about bringing solar energy at one point to that farm. Again, I trust Mrs. Kiefer to be a pretty reliable source. She told me the difference was $28,000 paid in taxes as a farm and $280,000 paid in taxes as a solar farm. Again, I'm just representing what the difference is, and might not be material, but that's what it was. Thank you.
yeah, we really need to change that.
we get a motion to close the first public portion.
Make a motion to close first public portion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Make a motion to approve the correspondence and reports?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from May 10th, 2022?
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the bill list?
Make a motion to approve the bill list?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolutions, can I get a motion to approve resolution R 8522, appointing conflict municipal prosecutors for the Township of Franklin Joint Municipal Court for the year 2022?
Make a motion to approve R 8522?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve resolution R 8622, appointing conflict public defenders for the Township of Franklin Joint Municipal Court for the year 2022?
Make a motion to approve R 8622?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve resolution R 8722, authorizing the CFO to refund the following escrow fees and close the following escrow accounts?
Make a motion to approve R 8722?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve resolution R 8822, authorizing the tax collector and chief financial officer to refund overpayment of taxes?
Make a motion to approve R 8822?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve resolution R 8922, authorizing the tax collector and chief financial officer to refund homestead rebate?
Make a motion to approve R 8922?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Oh, boy. Can I get a motion to approve resolution 9022, accepting the resignation of Patrick Haggerty and appointing Gina Hayes as tax collector?
Make a motion to approve R 9022?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve resolution 9122, appointing Desiree Hogman, financial clerk?
Make a motion to approve R 9122?
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Petch Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9222, appointing Michelle Paulson as full-time administrative assistant?
Make a motion to approve R 9222.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9322, appointing Benjamin Scogna?
Make a
Hold on, I'm
oh,
not done.
well, you, my
As
goodness.
labor in the Department of Public Works. I wanted to make sure I said his name right.
Well, it's like SpongeBob, 10 years later. Making a motion to approve R 9322.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9422, appointing Austin Booz and
Lucy?
Lucy Worth as part-time dog census takers?
Make a motion to approve R 9422.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9522, authorizing the mayor and his or his designee to execute an employment agreement between the Township of Franklin and Matthew DeCesare as Deputy Police Chief for the Township of Franklin?
Make a motion to approve R 9522.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9622, granting renewal of liquor license within the Township of Franklin for the years 2022 to 2023?
Make a motion to approve R 9622.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Authorize, can I get a motion? Can I get a motion to approve R 9722, authorizing the tax collector to prepare and mail estimated third quarter tax bills in accordance with PL 1994C.272?
Make a motion to approve R 9722.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9822, fixing the mileage reimbursement rate for township employees of the Township of Franklin?
Make a motion to approve R 9822.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 9922, authorizing the mayor to sign an amendment to the addendum of the interlocal agreement with the Borough of Newfield regarding provision of police services?
Make a motion to approve R 9922.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yeah, I just want to let you know, we made that a 10-year deal as opposed to a 5. We did the same thing with Buna. We went, their initial second agreement, or we stretched that out to 10 years. Talked to Newfield about it, and they were interested in the same thing, so we decided that we would do that, and that's what the amendment is. I said yes, Bart.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution R 122, awarding contract to T.W. Sheehan and Associates and Steve Bartlett for appraisal services for farmland preservation projects in the amount of $5,600?
Make a motion to approve R 122.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve R 101-22, accepting the recommendation of the Township Administrator, terminating the employment of a Township employee?
Make a motion to approve R 101-22.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Pesh Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the second public portion for any comments?
Make a motion to go in the second public portion.
Is it approved?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, all in favor?
Oh.
I gave a motion to go in. I didn't say all.
yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Fine.
Let me give the salad again. So now that you are aware that commercial solar systems are grade ratables for the township, I would ask, are you going to open that to other commercial districts?
Leah, we'll look at that. You brought up some good points, and we'll have CME and Rosemary and Matt and some others look at that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening, Nancy Kennedy, 711 St. George Street. I noticed, and I didn't see it before tonight when I was sitting there, that Patrick Haggerty is leaving. And I'm sorry to see that. He was, in my opinion, an exceptional employee, and it was a pleasure working with him. So I wanted to take a minute to thank Patrick. He was one of my, I think, last hired as administrator, and he did a great job.
That one hurt.
Yeah. I also want to congratulate Deputy Chief DeCesare. I'm sure he will do an excellent job. I've known Matt since we were in high school, although he was much younger than I was. And I know he's very dedicated to the community.
We know how old he is. Now we
He's a
know.
baby. And then finally, Chief Zimmer. There aren't enough words for me to tell you how I came to respect Chief Zimmer while I was employed here. He was never, ever afraid to stand up and do the right thing. He was never afraid to vocalize what his concerns were. He always put, in my opinion, the Township of Franklin first, and certainly showed great leadership to a police force that is, in my opinion, beyond compare. And so I don't know what his capacity will be going forward. There's been some discussion tonight, but if I don't get the opportunity again, I don't think we've ever had a better chief. I don't think we could ever have a better chief. He did an absolutely exceptional job. So thank you, Chief Zimmer. And final comment, just to piggyback on what Mr. Kennedy said. When I was township administrator, there was a lawsuit going on. Heather Flame was seated and then she was unseated. And even while she was waiting to go back up and be a township committee person again, she had a top item on her agenda. And it wasn't to let anybody else tell her how the township should be run. It wasn't any personal agenda to put a family member in place. It wasn't anything at all like that. What Heather's number one worry was why were we one of the only towns in Gloucester County who did not have school resource officers? And so she set in motion events that caused committees to be formed, people's awareness to be raised, and as a result, we have some very terrific officers protecting our kids. So even though she's not here this evening in light of recent events, I wanted to say to Ms. Flynn, thank you very much for that. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I don't know if the director's supposed to get in his own movie.
It's worth a shot.
All right.
You, Mr. Mayor, members of
Good
the
Good evening.
being that we're coming to the end of May, I have been concerned there have been no department budget hearings, and we're estimating taxes bills again. Is there any shot on when?
We probably will introduce the budget, right?
Yeah, Mayor, as
June.
there were prerequisites required to be completed regarding closing out last year's finances in order to begin the process, and we have targeted the administrator now on board to get it prepared as quickly as possible.
Will there be public department budget hearings like we had in the past?
I have been made aware of them, and I have no problem with that myself, and Ms. Hayes will make ourselves available during the daytime. We'll advertise when they are so that we can answer questions and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason, who's this gentleman?
I'm Patrick Madden. So I'm a conflicts attorney for the township.
Okay. It's just you weren't introduced, and we didn't know who you were.
I'm sorry.
Or I didn't know who you were, I should say.
He was just bored, so he thought he could come out.
That's what I was thinking.
He was driving by, had a suit on.
If you had somebody from the engineer, because I know people requested that the engineers come.
They don't wear ties.
I'm dressed better than that.
Yeah, exactly. Engineers don't show up in jacket and tie, so that's the trick. That's how you know.
Really?
They do not.
I can't ever see it, so I've seen one.
They go out in the field. In their defense, they're out on more than we are.
So, I forgot my second thing, but Jake, I will say, I did, listen to the thing, you did say, $1 more than the captain. So I did re-listen to it, so I will,
Well, you just listen to that now?
I absolutely did.
Well, I tell you what, I thought my life was bad.
And I listened to it because I brought it up, I called you out, and I'm coming back to tell you, I apologize. You did say $1 more than captain. But my thought was what the money was that we were putting out total, so.
Luckily, I don't have feelings. He didn't hurt him.
You're a better woman than I am, because I don't know if I had to apologize to him.
My mistake, you know. Then-
You would, Mary.
So here's my question. So are we looking for someone to now run Public Works? Because this is the first that I actually heard the resident come up and say that all the suits were been settled and things have been done. So now are we moving forward to look for somebody to run it that has all the certifications?
I believe we'll be looking there probably next.
Are we going to give Larry shots at?
We,
You can't do it?
no, we can't, right, you know, of what, you know,
Not
that.
allowed to
we
talk
can't,
about
we
people.
can't.
I mean, we're
He's
addressing
been
things
running it,
as,
but
we're addressing things as we're going, and, we're gonna be addressing Public Works. All facets of Public Works, not just the superintendent or whatever.
well, just because now that we can put somebody in that spot that has the license or the certifications or whatever they need, now that everything's done. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, he never called me back. I think that's intentional, because, in 25 years, he's never not called me back.
Harry Kennedy, 1578 Bryceville Road. I don't know if this is the only member of the Madden family I don't know. I know Mike and Jim very well. I don't know Patrick. Well, I thought it was pretty interesting that he's here tonight. He's your labor attorney, and you're terminating
Conflict.
Conflict, but he also does labor, doesn't he? Just a guess.
I think he probably
I think he probably
does. He
does.
probably does a lot of that.
I think he probably does, and you're terminating somebody tonight, you have your attorney here already, I have a feeling he'll be, his time will be very well spent. And your money will be very well spent, and the taxpayers' money will be very well spent. So it's good that you got a preview of things to come. Those the Christmas past, we'll come back to haunt Franklin Township again. One more lawsuit, one more tete-a-tete, one more trip to the judge, and just a little bit less money that we're covered with in terms of insurance that we'll have to pony up. But that's your decision. Who is the superintendent at Public Works?
Larry's acting
But
right
who
now.
has the license?
Matt, did we talk about this?
About
The license and
Do you have a
having,
licensed supervisor?
at Public Works, I haven't researched that, I'd have to look over there.
You don't have a license. In other words, you don't have a license. I mean, you were using John Salvatore's license before, I believe, because he was a licensed Public Works supervisor as well as your administrator. And Mr. Finley, with his excellent background in police, I don't believe he probably touched the Public Works Department with his long tenure in
be
Vineland.
surprised.
Yeah, well, he probably had a few things he had to clean up there, but in any case, it might not be a good idea, and again, you can talk to Mr. Madden, I'm sure Madden, and all the Maddens I've ever known are very good attorneys. But it might be a good idea to have a licensed superintendent in charge in terms of some more litigation that might be coming down the line. The last question I had, and I saw the new overlay map for the public housing, and I saw it extends from the Clayton line to property involving me in that area. And that doesn't preclude other things from happening, I guess, in terms of your fair housing settlement. In other words, if an area is designated for
They
fair
gotta make
housing,
a deal
it
with it.
doesn't prevent anything else from happening.
Correct, that's the nature of an
And then the other
overlay.
thing is.
They gotta make a deal. If it's your property, they gotta make a deal.
Right, you'd have to get sewage from Clayton, you'd have to get sewage from Vineland. You did it in contiguous areas where the possibility existed in the future, because in order to have it, you'd have to have some sort of sewage system beyond the septic system. So it wasn't any, you had to settle a suit. Those were two easy ways to do it. One is contiguous to a Clayton area that provides sewage. One's contiguous to a Vineland area that provides sewage. It's not any immediate plan to locate housing there, and you're not precluding other development from taking place, such as storage areas or solar, because you've designated it a possible low-cost housing. That doesn't.
Correct, that's why it's
Does
an
not preclude
overlay.
anything from happening.
Correct.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sorry, I know the next ordinance or resolution is gonna be limiting people to one time off the mic. But that.
Can you do that?
That actually reminded me of a question I meant to ask. I only had a chance to cursory review the proposed COA settlement. And my question is, did it allocate all water and sewer available to be reserved for affordable housing? Did I read that correctly?
No, I'll speak to y'all. You were counsel of record on that matter.
Yeah,
I'll speak to you outside of this
That's
meeting
fine. I'm
on
just
what
asking
was
the question
agreed
if it
to.
was precluded, because I just wondered how it affected Meredith Farms.
Nancy Kennedy, still haven't moved 7-Eleven.
We passed that ordinance already.
Dang it. My question's fairly easy, I think. So, and it's just rare that Ms. Bastilli, Leopardi, and Mr. Kennedy agree on, or seem to have a same thread in the topic, so I want to follow this up. We had a supervisor with a certification when Mr. Salvatore was the administrator, correct?
We had, say that again?
We had a supervisor at the DPW who had a certification.
No, we didn't.
I think
Mr. Salvatore had one.
Mr. Salvatore.
I thought you meant, do we?
No,
Yes,
and he was kind of wearing both hats. Has there been anyone since him?
No.
Okay, when did he leave? Because it all runs together in my head. I know we had a lot of administrators.
Right before the 2-week guy came.
The
2-week guy came.
Brandon.
No, yeah, it was. Probably April, right? April timeframe
April
last year?
2021-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
I don't think so.
Can I get a motion to close the second public portion?
Make a motion to close the second public portion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports, Mary?
I guess obviously, I think we're all kind of pretty upset with today's news. So my prayers and my thoughts all go out to Texas, but, and I think a lot of us received the messages from Delsey this week. So I'd like to thank the Franklin Township Police Department and the school districts on what an excellent job they did this week in keeping our children and our community safe. And it's always good to know on how well we're taken care of here. It's really such a peace of mind knowing that you have our children's backs and how well we're taken care of. But of course, my heart and my prayers go out to Texas today. But other than that, I don't have any other. There was no other meetings this week, so I don't have anything other than that.
Jim?
Saturday, the 28th at 11 o'clock, they're having a ceremony at the cemetery on Tuckahoe Road. It's between Tuckahoe and between 538 and Grant. It's
yes.
So they're going to have a memorial set and have some speakers speak. Everybody's welcome to come. The police will be doing traffic control, so it should be a nice day if anybody wants to stop by and hear what people have to say.
Yeah. They have a very nice crowd every year. What time was that again?
11.
11.
But they're putting up a memorial, so they're going to have like a plaque and
nice.
dedications.
Yeah, the woman, she's fantastic. The woman, she's amazing.
The VFW is doing Friday
It's on Memorial Day
Memorial Day.
at 11 a.m. at the VFW.
at the VFW. They're gonna have hot dog sodas and stuff like that.
Yes, the township provided hot dogs and sodas to the VFW, and they thanked you.
Also, we had a shredding event. I don't know, was it 4,000 pounds?
4,000.
4,000, we shredded 4,000 pounds. There'll be another one in the fall, and I want to thank the kids from Delsey. I guess they're part of the ROTC. They came out, Barb, and gave a hand. So I want to thank them. Other than that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.